Hey folks, and welcome to Greg's Golf Shack. I've got a quick fix for you if things start going wrong on the golf course, how to save your round, might even be a tip to help you permanently fix some things in your golf game. And the cool thing is, you don't have to change your golf swing at all. Ask yourself, how often do you hit a couple of bad shots on the golf course and you start tweaking your swing and changing your grip and all kinds of different things, and it just starts to go downhill. It becomes an experimental round. Well, this quick fix is really easy and you don't have to change your swing at all. Now folks, the best quick fix you can get is subscribe to my channel. I'm a certified golf instructor. I've got all kinds of tips across my YouTube channel and social media. I want to help you improve your golf game and have more fun on the course. So what's this magical quick fix? Well, one of my recent videos was about ball position and what the ideal ball position is for setup for the different clubs in your bag, from my perspective. And this quick fix directly relates to that because depending on the kind of mishits we're having, a little change in our ball position can make all the difference. Now, I'm not suggesting that these quick fixes are going to actually improve your golf swing and fix some of the faults that might be causing these consistent mishits you're experiencing. It's meant to be that quick fix so when things start happening on the course, you don't have to turn it into an experiment. You can make a quick adjustment in your ball position and get back on track and shoot a good score. Now, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet, but some explanation might be needed so we can decipher what's happening and what adjustment do we need to do to fix it. So let's talk about hitting it fat first, the chunk or whatever you want to call it. That happens when the club comes down and it hits the ground before the ball, getting a lot of grass and dirt and different elements between the club and the ball. It doesn't fly as far as you'd like. Sometimes it just chunks and rolls forward a little bit. There's a lot of different reasons that that could be happening because of our swing. But how do we fix it when we're out on the course? Very easy. If we're setting up to the ball consistently each time, and we're making a swing and the club is coming down and hitting the ground before the ball, move the ball back a little bit, about the point where you're hitting the ground before the ball. Then the club's going to come down and hit the ball instead. Quick fix, very easy. Next little quick fix is for thin hits or topped shots. Now, there's two different ways these can happen. Most commonly happens with fairway woods or hybrids, so I pulled out a hybrid to demonstrate this. Now, we can hit a topped shot or thin shot one of two ways. Either you're a little bit forward of the ball and the club comes down and hits the ball kind of on top of the ball on the way down. That's a little bit less common than the other scenario I'm going to talk about, but if that's happening, if you're hitting the ball too soon, well, simply roll the ball forward a little bit. Then the club has time to get down towards the ground a little bit and you can get to the bottom of the ball, hitting into the back of the ball rather than the top of it. So if you're hitting down on top of the ball, move the ball ahead a little bit. Now, the more common miss with topped and thin shots is when people hang back and the club is already on the upswing. It either comes up and hits the middle of the ball or even comes up a little higher and kind of rolls over top of the ball. And we get those low little runners or it just rolls down in front of us. So quick fix. If you're hitting a lot of these topped shots on the upswing, roll the ball back a little bit. Get that ball closer to the bottom of the arc of your swing so you can hit a nice pure strike. Now, quick fixes for when our ball is going off in a direction we don't expect it to. You should first check your alignment. Make sure you're not just aiming the wrong way. That can cause a lot of issues and it's quite common. So we're going to carry on assuming you have good alignment and your strike, something in your swing is causing this issue. Now we need a little bit more understanding so we can better decipher what's happening when we're hitting these shots. And it helps to understand the relationship between the angle of the club face and the swing path and how that influences direction and curvature in our ball flight. Generally speaking, the ball likes to come off the face of the club at a 90-degree angle. Now, not perfectly 90, but around approximately 90 degrees. That's what determines the starting line of the ball. The swing path through impact is what imparts some side spin on the ball and can create that curvature. So if a club face comes through impact and it is square, pointing directly where you're aiming, and the swing path is really quite square at that moment of impact, that should create a straight shot. Now, for example, if the swing path is coming from inside out and the face is open a little bit, that might push the ball straight out to the right for a right-handed player. And if the swing path is a little bit outside in and the face is closed, that can cause a straight pull. So let's talk about how we can apply a quick fix with ball position for those two misses, the push and the pull. Now, no matter who we are and how we swing, we all have this circular swing path. It's coming from inside behind us, coming through this general hitting zone, and then swinging around in front of us and behind us again. So at some point in our swing, that swing path is pretty neutral. It might happen forward a little bit, it might happen back a little bit, or it might happen right in the middle. So we all have potential where our swing path might be square at some point, but not necessarily at impact. So let's move the ball and fix one of these misses. So if you're pushing the ball, if for some reason the club path is coming from the inside and the face is a little bit open and it's shooting that ball straight out to the right, what we'd like to do is maybe move the ball a little bit forward in the stance. This gives time for the path to square and the face to square in our natural swing. And that way we have a little bit more of a neutral square position at impact, generating a more controlled, straighter ball flight. For someone who is pulling the golf ball, meaning the club is coming from outside in possibly, and the club face is closed, sending it straight out to the left for a right-handed player, then if we move the ball back in the stance, there's a better chance that we might be neutralizing that swing path and the face might still be a little bit open at that point in the swing, and that again can generate a little bit more of a straighter ball flight. Now, if you're curving the ball a little too much with those directional shots, so you have a push slice or a pull hook, the same thing applies with ball position. I would suggest just either opening the club face or closing the club face to help neutralize that spin. So if you're push slicing the ball, that means the club's coming from inside and the face is open, even more open if it's curving. So to neutralize that, we're gonna push the ball forward a little bit in our stance to neutralize that swing path and close the club face a little bit in your hands and re-grip. Don't just turn your hands closed because they'll always come back. So set up, close the club face a little bit, re-grip it, and then make your swing. If you're pull hooking it, again, with that pull, if you've got that outside in swing path, move the ball back a little bit in your stance to neutralize that swing path and open the club face a little bit, re-grip it, and make your swing. This will help make sure that the swing path is a little bit neutral and the face is squaring a little bit more in relationship with that path. It should generate a bit of a straighter shot or reduce the amount that your ball is spraying all over the course. Now, for people who dramatically slice that ball, meaning the ball actually starts traveling on the inside of our target line and curls way out beyond outside our target line. Well, that usually comes down to alignment. People who really slice the ball tend to start aiming more and more and more to the left for a right-handed player, meaning you have no choice but to start the ball that direction. And your club face is opening more and more because it feels uncomfortable to point the club face out to the trees or the water that are out to your left there. So we end up opening the club face and closing our stance. That's making the slice even worse. So it comes down to your alignment first. Square up your alignment. This scenario with that outside in swing path, move the ball back in the stance a little bit, close the club face, and give it a swing. With that good alignment, that should help you straighten out the shot a little bit. People who dramatically hook the ball, same kind of thing, just sort of the opposite. I find people who really hook the ball end up really closed. They close their stance so much they're on an angle here, and they end up really closing the club face as a result to try and feel like it's not going to go way out to the right there. Square it up. You're not doing yourself any favors if you really close your stance to try to save a ball from a hook. You're making it worse. So those dramatic hooks, square up your alignment, move the ball forward in the stance a little bit so the path has time to neutralize, open the club face a little bit, re-grip, and swing. That should help you square the club face and square the path at impact, keeping the ball in play. So there's your little cheat sheet when your ball starts spraying everywhere, how you might find a very simple solution by just moving your ball around in the stance to help get things under control. And in some cases, if the ball's curving a little too much, just adjust the club head a little bit in your grip. If you're really trying to save a round and get things under control, I don't recommend you start tweaking your swing and start applying a tip you just learned on YouTube or something in the middle of your round, hoping it's going to save your score. It's usually not. Save that for the driving range or a practice round or something like that. When you're on the course, keep it simple, keep the changes very small, and have some fun. I hope those tips help you salvage a round, shoot better scores, and have more fun. Like and subscribe. See you next time on Greg's Golf Shack.